Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Champions Adjust Sports Talk Show. My name is Aaron Mashbitz. Over the weekend, Oneil Cruz of the Pittsburgh Pirates had one of the most embarrassing plays I've ever seen on a professional sports field in my life. I mean, this is something that you see at a 9-10-year-old baseball game. The Pittsburgh Pirates are playing the Texas Rangers. There's a routine base hit to center field where Oneil Cruz plays, and the ball hits off his glove, goes underneath his glove. He makes an error, an egregious, embarrassing error, which is a lack of focus, not a talent error or a physical error. It's a mental error, which is a lack of focus, and then he just watches the ball. He just watches the ball as it rolls close to the center field fence, and the Texas Rangers player, I believe it was Josh Smith, just ran all the way around for an inside the park home run. He just watched the baseball after he made an error that was solely based on lack of focus. He didn't watch the ball go into his glove. He didn't get down to a knee. He didn't do any of the fundamentals that could have prevented that ball from going under his glove. And then, to add insult to injury, he just watches the baseball, doesn't run after it, doesn't sprint after it, just looks at it. And Josh Smith runs all the way around for an inside the park home run. That is one of the most embarrassing plays I've ever seen on a professional baseball field. And his manager said he was on thin ice. I don't care how talented you are. I mean, Oneil Cruz is one of the most talented baseball players we've ever seen come into the major leagues. He has every skill known to man. He's what you call a five-tool player. But what he doesn't have is the intangible skill, the mental fortitude, the mental toughness to actually be a superstar in Major League Baseball. And because the Pittsburgh Pirates have one of the best players in baseball on their team, Paul Skeens, who's currently 4-6 with a 1.85 ERA, his team cannot get the job done when he pitches because of people and the culture of the Pittsburgh Pirates like Oneil Cruz, who are okay with losing. You become okay with losing, and losing becomes your culture no matter how many good players you have on your team, no matter how many good players come through the system, no matter how good Paul Skeens is with a 1.85 ERA and a 4-6 record. You create a culture of losing because you're okay with those embarrassing type plays like Oneil Cruz displayed over the weekend by just watching the baseball. So I don't care how many good players the Pittsburgh Pirates have. If they continue to allow that type of culture and effort, then they're going to continue to lose. And that type of effort bleeds down into every level of baseball. I guarantee some 17-year-old, 16-year-old, 15-year-old, 14-year-old is going to make that exact same play, and it's going to be he's going to say it's okay because Oneil Cruz did it. We try and, as a baseball coach, we try and just really stamp down that the things you can control are the most important things: your attitude, your effort, and your response, especially your effort. All these sorts of things on the baseball field are not going to go your way. But what you can control is how you respond, your attitude, and your effort. You can go 100% no matter what. But when young athletes of all sports see someone like Oneil Cruz, who has all the physical gifts in the world, not even run after a baseball, and there'll be zero consequences to his actions. He didn't get pulled out of the game. All his manager said was he's on thin ice, and he gave him the silent treatment in the dugout. I would have yanked that motherfucker out of the game, and he'd be suspended or benched or whatever the case may be. It's not like he's helping the Pittsburgh Pirates win. If you want to change your culture around, you have to change the decisions and the choices you make. And that's holding people accountable to a standard, a winning standard. And again, that type of effort and attitude bleeds down into every baseball level. That's why I tell the kids that I coach, whether they're 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way up to 17, to watch college baseball, because those guys are actively getting after it. And then it leads to a larger conversation that fans are upset. Fans are upset because we watch sports because we want the competitive, intense nature that sports brings. And sometimes when you reach the pinnacle of sports at the major levels, NBA, NFL, MLB, these guys start losing effort. They start getting lazy because they know how good they are at certain things. They know they're making an absurd amount of money, right? And there's also the other side of it, of the toxic fan culture. Fans think they own these players because they play for their city, and there's so much negativity and death threats, and all of those things come from the toxic negativity of the fan culture. I totally understand that. But the players do have a responsibility to play hard. they do have a responsibility to play hard, because ultimately they should absolutely love what they're doing. There should be gratitude and blessings to be able to play a game for a living. Yes, you're better than everyone else at it. Yes, you have more talent than everyone else. Of course, that's why you made it that far and you deserve recognition for that. But what we're trying to teach young people is that effort is what matters. We praise effort over outcomes, and the major league stars, whatever sport they're in, have a responsibility to show that to the younger generation, that hard work and ownership and responsibility matter. And Oneil Cruz embarrassed himself on the baseball field over the weekend, and it has to be stated that that's a larger problem that is precipitating through all types of sports with his entitlement, lazy, sort of eject button type behavior. And it starts from the top and it goes down. We have to set a standard of that. And it's very, very important. And I wanted to mention that as the most important thing on this show. And then we talked about Paul Skeens, so I might as well talk about LSU winning their 8th College World Series, and probably now in the last 40 years going down as the most dominant college baseball program. I think it was said that in the last 40 years, they've made the College World Series 20 times. They've won 8 World Series. I think USC has more, which is 12, but they haven't won since 1998. I mean, LSU is the school to go. They are the most dominant college baseball program on the planet. They win their 8th World Series title, and Coastal Carolina, kudos, hats off to them. Incredible back half of their season. I believe they won 28 or 26 straight games. They really, really focus on the fundamentals, the freebies, winning the beginning, playing hard, right? All of those things that set a standard like we're talking about with the Pittsburgh Pirates that they do not have. Coastal Carolina absolutely does have that standard. They have a culture of guys that they care about and they love, and they all play hard and they play the same way, and they have their nose and toes facing the same direction. And in game 2 of that College World Series, we saw their head coach and their assistant coach get thrown out in the first inning, and that just absolutely cannot happen. It's not the Umpires show. It's an elimination game in the biggest game of the year for college baseball, and Coastal Carolina's coach is just, yes, he's saying it aggressively, right? But there's absolutely zero reason to throw him out of the game unless he says something like, suck my cock, I'll murder your family. Like they said in Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell, right? If he gets to that level, sure, it's an objectable and offense. But he absolutely didn't even come close to saying that. I think he said something about 3 pitches that you missed, saying it loud, saying aggressive, having his players back, because this is an elimination game. They have to win or they go home. And there's just zero reason for those umpires to make it about them and throw them out of the game. It's about the players. It's about the coaches. It's about the schools. And they should have their head coach with them the entire time. He even gets suspended for 2 games. So when they lost and LSU won their 8th World Series title, I believe at the start of the season, next year, he's not even allowed to be there because he got suspended for 2 games. I mean, that whole thing is atrocious. It should be protested. That should never happened, right? Again, there are certain words that you say that come out of a coach's mouth that deserve to be thrown out of the game, 100%. But the Coastal Carolina coach did not say that, and it has to go very, very far for you to be thrown out in an elimination game, in the most important game of the year in Omaha in the College World Series. So those umpires should be held accountable for that, because if we're going to hold coaches and players accountable, umpires must be held accountable as well. But again, congratulations to the LSU Tigers for winning their 8th College World Series title. What a fantastic season. Again, probably the most dominant college baseball program in the last 40 years. They've made it 20 times. I mean, Paul Skeens just came out of there in 2023, and now he's one of the most dominant pitchers in Major League Baseball. We just talked about him. So really, I think that's all I have for you on today's episode of the Champions Just Sports Talk Show. So please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about what I said or anything related to what I talked about. And then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.